APSB acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'm John Reid, Senior Technical Manager at the Accounting Professional and Ethical Standards Board. Welcome to this video highlighting the key revisions in the reissued APES 320 Quality Management for Firms that Provide Non-Assurance Services. This is the second instalment video on the history and philosophy of the standard, and there is a further video on adoption and SMP considerations that will be issued in the coming weeks. So APSB maintained as much as possible of the existing material from APES 320 Quality Control for Firms to minimise disruption for firms. So 19 of the 25 requirements remain the same, and 5 are partially from the existing standard. 5 of APES 320's elements have minimal changes from what firms already have in place for governance and leadership, professional standards, acceptance and continuance of engagements, engagement performance, and monitoring and remediation. We also issued a mapping table that maps new paragraphs to existing paragraph numbers and provides an explanation of changes or if it's a new paragraph or where paragraphs have been deleted. This table assists firms to easily identify where changes are required to existing policies and procedures. So the main amendments to APES 320 consist of: 1, the scope has changed to only apply to non-assurance services. Appendix 1 illustrates the types of services that revised APES 320 applies to, and Appendix 2 demonstrates a high-level alignment to ASQM1, which applies to assurance services. 2, assurance-based terminology and material have been removed, including that reasonable assurance has changed to reasonable confidence, which is terminology that's been used in APES 325, risk management, since 2013. So 3, there are new defined terms. Some terms have been amended and some removed. So again, the mapping table clearly identifies these changes. 4, there is 1 new and 5 partially new requirements. 5, human resources has been expanded to resources more broadly to align to ASQM1, but also to reflect the importance and impact of technology and intellectual resources and service providers, if applicable, on the quality of services that firms provide. And 6, there's a new element, information and communication, and I'll provide more detail about this shortly. So the most substantive issue that was raised on the APES 320 exposure draft was that stakeholders believe that due to the varied nature of non-assurance services, that there's not always going to be conclusions reached or reports issued, and that this is something that's inferred throughout the existing APES 320. So APSB utilised stakeholder suggestions and terminology from APES 305, Terms of Engagement, and Guidance Note 30 on outsourced services to develop a definition of engagement output as the report or other output of an engagement as specified in the engagement document, and included a non-exhaustive list of such outputs. So references to reports have been amended to engagement outputs throughout the reissued standard. The new information and communication element was derived from ASQM1, but with simplifications for greater relevance to non-assurance services. So firms are required to establish policies and procedures to address obtaining, generating and using information about the system of quality management and to communicate this within the firm and externally on a timely basis. The associated application material highlights potential matters for inclusion in policies and procedures based on the firm's nature and circumstances, including consideration of laws and regulations that may require or preclude communicating information externally. So this is an extract of APSB's mapping table to illustrate how firms can use this to understand and track changes. In this example, you can see that new paragraph 4.19 maps to paragraph 47 in the existing APES 320, and the change relates to human resources expanding to cover resources more broadly, and that the firm has reasonable confidence it has sufficient and appropriate resources. Above this, you can see that there is a new guidance paragraph 4.18 about the size and complexity of the firm impacting resources used. You can also see that paragraph 46 has been removed due to being assurance related, and paragraph 4.17 has only changed due to using the defined term, those charged with governance. Please visit APSB's website for the standard, basis for conclusions, and in particular, the mapping table, as most of your existing policies and procedures can be rolled forward to save time and implementation costs. Please also watch out for our next instalment that will focus on the APES 320 adoption and the SMP considerations. Thank you for watching this video.